Chris and his dad talk about sports.
Ooh, new opening.
Yeah, hope people like it. I don't know. Getting used to the other
Very
one.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Very Sopranos.
Of course you like it.
Reminds me of a past life. Pretty cool.
I gotta watch this full show though.
Can you believe last week?
I mean, last week was wild. But before that, what is going on, everybody? I'm Chris Dailey, founder of the Sports Grit and co-host of the Chris and His Dad Show. And we are back for yet another episode, Season 2, Episode 3, because we missed last week due to some personal things going on. Life, it gets pretty hectic. Like, this is not our full-time gig and everything. And if you're going to turn the music up, you got to turn our voices up, too. So, it was pretty tough last week, but to me, it was a good week. I had some predictions last week I posted on Instagram. I did okay. It was a very wild week of football, though, with some of these games, just what happened in these games were absolutely wild.
Okay, Chris, I'm sorry, I was enjoying that Sopranos music.
Yeah, I could tell you were not listening.
I've been trying to get you to watch that show for the longest time.
Yeah.
Matt watched it. He loved it. Yeah, incredible week of football last week. You had the Cardinals-Raiders game, which was ridiculous. I actually had... I'm going to be honest with you, I just looked past that game. I thought it was over. What was the score at one point? It was like 23-3.
Yeah, it was an absolute blowout. And then you called me and you said, Chris, why aren't you watching the game? And I go, well, it was a blowout last time I was watching. And you said, come down here. I go down there, and all of a sudden we have a very tight game in the fourth quarter. It went to overtime, right? It goes to overtime, and then...
Oh, the overtime was incredible. The fumble.
The fumble, the scoop and score for the Cardinals to win the game, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, Kyler Murray, he's brought me back now. I was really down on him after his last year's...
The talent is there. The talent is definitely there. It's just the execution on a consistent basis, because he's a very good quarterback, but what separates good from the great and the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, the Josh Allens of the NFL, the Pat Mahomes, the Justin Herberts, is consistently doing this week in and week out. So we'll see. Week 3 hits. Can he do it again? Can he have another great game? Because... as I said, he's a Heisman winner. He's a guy who is a top 10 pick in 2 major sports leagues. And there's no denying the athletic ability of Kyler Murray. But is he going to be consistent enough to sustain this throughout the whole season?
I don't know. That's the big question. So there were some great games. You had the Chargers and the Chiefs pulled it out. And that was that one kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting the... listen, the Chiefs have gotten off to another great start. And... it's going to be interesting to see if anybody can stop them in the AFC this year.
I think it's obvious who's going to stop him. It's the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, there was a live murder on my television screen when the Buffalo Bills just absolutely, they just plowed through that game.
But there were crazy games last week. Crazy games. You had the Jets onside kick. The Jets are down by 9 with a minute and a half left, and they win the game.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And then also the Ravens and Dolphins.
Holy
the Dolphins came back, and Tua Tagovailoa exploded for over 400 yards. Jalen Waddle had a huge game. Tyreek Hill, I think, had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Tua Tagovailoa leads the NFL in passing yards at 739 2 weeks in. That just goes to show how explosive an offense they have. And when you have the 2 fastest wide receivers in the NFL,
yep.
I think it does a lot, helps you a lot more than...
All right, well, let's look at the picks for this week, because let's jump right into it, because there's some really good ones. So.
Yeah, and we can't do picks without a little... Of course, you turn the music down.
Well,
With a little NFL music. Get started with the Buffalo Bills. And, okay, this is a good one. This is a divisional game. Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. To me, the game of the week at 1 o'clock. I will be watching this game. You best bet I will be. The 2-0 versus 2-0. Josh Allen, again, another MVP caliber year. The guy is just so good at what he does, but the Dolphins are coming off of that huge win, as we just mentioned. They have one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL right now with that dual threat, because if you have to double team Tyreek Hill, you leave Jalen Waddle totally isolated. And Jalen Waddle, if you don't know about him, he was at Alabama. He gets injured in the national championship game. Second year in the NFL now, and he's just totally exploded this year. It's really great to see. To me, what's going to win this game is a defense, and a team who let the Ravens score 38 on them doesn't convince me. I'm going the Buffalo Bills in this game.
Yeah, the Dolphins have really struggled against the pass this year. They're leaving up 9 yards per pass
attempt.
Yeah, pass attempt, and I really don't think this actually is going to be. I think the Dolphins' luck runs out. Now, listen, maybe they have some kind of magic. You see teams like that, but I think overall you got to.
It's a very good team.
You got to go with the Buffalo Bills on this one. The Dolphins' defense is just not equipped to stop them.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are a very good team, but the issue is the Buffalo Bills are a great team, and there is a big difference between these two. To me, the Buffalo Bills are at the very top of the food chain right now in the NFL. They are the team to beat. You could say it's the Rams, but I'm not buying it with the Rams this year. To me, it's the Bills. But let's move on to the team that the Rams played in the Super Bowl last year. The 0-2 Bengals have had a Super Bowl hangover. Meanwhile, the Jets are coming off of a huge win against the Browns where they were down 9 points with a minute left. Somehow managed to pull one out of Joe Flacco's butt. And Joe Flacco... Okay, Joe Flacco, if I told you that Joe Flacco would be third in the NFL in passing yards by this point in the season... I mean, you would think I'd crazy. You'd slap me in the face.
Well,
but
here's
here
a
we
reason. Here's a reason. Number one, he's been sacked more than any other quarterback, 13 times. That's a league-leading 13 times. He's yet to throw for a touchdown over 10 yards. Last season, he had the most touchdowns over 10 yards with 19 of them.
They have a really, very good rookie wide receiver on that team.
Who?
Garrett Wilson.
Who?
I just told you. The Jets.
I didn't hear you. You guys speak into the microphone. Also,
okay,
Chris, come on! I did some research here. The Bengals, if they lose this game, this is one of those games. If you're a bettor, you put your money on the Bengals. They're going to come out and they're,
hell, the Bengals they need to win because
they need to win, and they're playing the Jets.
This is like a season-breaking game.
Can't lose this game.
In the third week of the season.
Can't lose
This is an awful situation the Bengals put themselves in, and it's time for them to get themselves out of it. But Joe Burrow has not been playing good. Joe Burrow has more interceptions this year, 4 than touchdowns, 3.
He has no protection.
He has no protection. Obviously,
it just goes to
nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. They were very lucky last year. I called the luck happening. It was lightning in a bottle. And unfortunately, this team is just not equipped right now to really do much this year.
If they go 0-3, they'll be the first team to do that since 2002 Rams.
I would not be shocked.
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, well, let's move on to another 0-2 team, the Las Vegas Raiders. They will be playing against the Tennessee Titans, who also happen to be 0-2. And to me, the difference between the Raiders and the Titans is the Raiders have lost by 1 score to two very good football teams, the Chargers and the Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Titans lost to the New York Football Giants of all teams. So, to me, that's a glaring difference between those teams.
The Titans?
The Titans.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Raiders in this game. Also, I didn't say last game, but I'm going to go the Jets in that game.
Okay. You're going to the... What?
I'm going the Jets.
How can you move on from that game when you pick an upset like that? That's ridiculous.
Huh?
You didn't even tell us that. You made it sound like the Bengals were going to win. You said it was a must-win for the Bengals.
Yeah, it's a must-win that they're not going to win. It's a must-win that they're going to lose.
Okay, all right, whatever. That was crazy. Obviously, I had the Bengals on that.
By the way, if they lose, I'm throwing this out, too.
Well, you can throw it out anyways.
They suck.
Raiders,
Joke of a team.
Raiders, Titans, Devontae Adams, Raiders, big game.
Huge game.
Big game. I'm predicting a big game from him. Chandler Jones, big game. And Chandler Jones, he's a pass rusher. Titans Taylor Lumen, who's supposed to be blocking for him, or blocking against him, is out with a serious knee injury. He'll be out for the season.
Well, the one thing that concerns me in this game is right now, it's very questionable if Hunter Renfrow and Josh Jacobs are going to play. That would definitely hurt him. But I think they're deep enough to the point, this is the Raiders, that they could bounce back. And I think the Raiders are winning this game.
I agree with you, unfortunately. But... we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens.
Where are we going next?
We're going to Saints. We're going to the Nolans Saints versus the Carolina Nolans. That's what Ian Book told me to say. He said
right.
The true Nolans natives say Nolans.
Where can you see your Ian Book interview?
On YouTube. The sports court.
Unfortunately, he doesn't play for them anymore. But
well, he plays for the Eagles, so fly, Eagles, fly. All of a sudden, I'm a huge Eagles fan. By the way.
God, Chris, get the hell out of here.
I'm not a huge Eagles. I'm a huge Ian Book fan. I just want Ian Book to win a Super Bowl. Hopefully, he comes to the Giants. That would be good luck. Saints 1-1 versus the Panthers 0-2. Panthers have done nothing to impress me. Their offense stinks. I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan, but they have nothing around him. Christian McCaffrey is just made out of glass. And meanwhile, the Saints, I really like Jameis Winston.
Here's one thing for you in this game. Look for the third down, right?
Yeah.
You got the Panthers, who are horrible at defending against third down conversions, and you have the Saints, who are the league in converting third downs. Mm-hmm. How's that for a stat?
That is, you're an encyclopedia of stats and random knowledge today, and I'm loving it.
That's not random knowledge, man.
Winston threw for 505 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. Taysom Hill, I really like what I've seen.
Too much time on this game. Saints.
Okay.
I mean, it's the Saints-Panthers. Does anybody care?
I care.
All right, go ahead. Say what else you wanted to say.
I really like Taysom Hill. Saints are going to win.
All right. I love when I take the air out of you.
Okay.
It's so hard. Usually you're so hyped. You're so hyped up.
How about this? You can go to the next game and talk about it. The Ravens and Patriots. Take it away.
You can't do that to me, Chris.
Now I'm going to.
You always go first.
The Ravens are coming off of a very tough loss to the Dolphins. It was a heartbreaking game for Ravens fans. You should have seen M&T Bank Stadium. Mac Jones, Schmack Jones. I couldn't care less. Whoever wins this game is a team who's going to control the clock. And I think the Patriots, it's Bill Belichick is going to win this game for them. If he controls the clock and doesn't give the ball into the hands of Lamar Jackson, they win the game. Unfortunately, I don't think they're talented enough for that to happen. I'm going to Baltimore Ravens.
So you're going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, you only are saying that because of Bill Belichick.
Yeah, well, that's a big only, Chris. He's only the greatest coach in the history of the game.
Yeah, obviously. It's no duh.
Okay, well, I think they're playing at the Patriots, and I'm expecting Mac Jones to have a big game. I think they need to win. Belichick was really, really ticked off.
Lamar Jackson's playing for something much bigger than a win.
What's that? Money?
Money.
He's a free agent, right?
Money.
Free agent.
He's playing for hundreds of millions. He turned down $125 million, something crazy like that. He's his own agent.
He's his own agent.
He turned down one of the hugest contracts in NFL history. So,
okay.
Imagine he blows out a knee. He's never the same again.
He's his own agent. What could go wrong?
Lions versus the Vikings. Interesting game
to
me.
I like this game. This game, to me, now this is an interesting game.
Yeah, the Lions only lost by 3 points to a very good Eagles team. Amon-Ra St. Brown is heating up. He's been one of the best receivers in the NFL. Jared Goff has been lights out. But then the Vikings were killed by the Eagles, meanwhile, in Week 2, and they are looking to rebound. What are you thinking about this game?
Okay, well, here's something that you may not know, Chris, even though you're the sports king. Where'd the music go? The Lions have a league-leading 7.2 yards per carry. How crazy is that?
You know why?
Why?
You can't even.
Why?
DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is a great running back, and
careful you say it.
DeAndre Swift.
All right.
I literally said it on this little sheet for you here. It says they're a good team.
I didn't read that.
With DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown making a lot of impact on offense.
But here's the thing.
I'm a big fan of Swift, by the way. He's from Georgia, actually, I believe.
Okay, so they're getting 7.2 yards a carry. Guess who's given up the most per carry?
Oh, let me guess. The Vikings.
Yes. Don't you see that's a problem?
Yeah, the issue with the Vikings right now is their defense. Yeah, and as you know, I'm the biggest Vikings fan known to man. I don't like to step away from my guard too often.
Oh, God. Are you going to flip-flop on the third game of the season? Come on, have a little faith. Dalvin Cook, he's your running back. He's going to have a big game.
Justin Jefferson needs to have a big game at the wide receiver spot. I'm not sold. You know why? Because the Lions were so close to the Eagles, and meanwhile the Vikings got blown out by the Eagles. So they both played the Eagles. You know what I mean?
Chris, you gotta have a little faith.
All right. Well, I'm gonna listen to you, Dad, because I think dads always know what's best. And I think you know what's best for me in this situation, that the Vikings are going to win. And then the Vikings are going to win it, and then you're going to come back after seeing the Lions, and I'm going to say, I told you so.
Okay, I'm picking the Lions due to the rushing game, and although I am a little worried about this because the Vikings, this is a big game. It's a big game up there. It's a big matchup.
Yeah, it's a divisional
in Minnesota.
Divisional matchup.
But I'm going with the Lions, which I hate doing because of Dan Campbell.
All right, well, you hate Dan Campbell. Why? I mean, what do you have against the guy?
I don't have anything. I mean, he seems like a nice guy.
The only thing I have against him is his son. His son blocked me on Snapchat.
Did he really?
Yeah, I
Why?
added his son on Snapchat. And then, so, let's make this
Sounds like a
clear
stalker.
story. I added Dan Campbell's son on Snapchat, and then he adds me back, and I text him, this is when the Jared Goff trade happens, and they send Matt Stafford to LA, and I say, it's Jared Goff time, baby, and he goes, yes, sir. And then I go to Snapchat him again, like 2 months later, asking for an interview or something. I was going to, lead my way into it.
You waited too long.
No. It said, this user blocked you. He probably blocked me right after, for all I know. You can't see when someone blocks you.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't say, I don't know.
you
He
know.
just blocked me. That's all I know.
There's crazy stalkers out there. He's a smart young man.
Yeah. Well, good for him. Good for him. He's got some common sense. Let's go to the team we were
Listen, you'll be able to interview his dad in about a year and a half, okay?
when he's out of a job.
He'll be unemployed.
Oh, that's great.
Go ahead.
He'll be the third guest of the show.
He'll be adding you. You can block him.
The Eagles 2-0 facing the Commanders. Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to. The Commanders suck. I shouldn't say they suck. I think Carson Wentz has done a great job with the Commanders. A lot of credit to him. He's thrown for 650 yards, second in the NFL this year.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you, Chris. My notes say receivers. This game comes down to receivers. However, the freaking Eagles have A.J. Brown, right?
They have A.J. Brown, they have Devontae Smith, they have Dallas Goedert, their tight end, who's been playing phenomenal. Both teams.
Quez Watkins.
Quez Watkins is great. He's a 6th-round pick. He was a
Pulled that one out.
diamond in the rough. By the way, 2 or 3 years ago, he was a sports court diamond in the rough on an article, and all of a sudden he's doing really good in the NFL.
See, now, you should go...
I appreciate you. I appreciate you knowing Quez Watkins.
You should go back and repost that article and say, hey, remember this?
Well, you know what I did?
It's like cold takes, you know?
I do.
Hot takes.
So there's a guy, Erling Haaland. He's become all of a sudden the best soccer player in the world. When he was 18, I made an article about him saying that he will be the next big thing in soccer. I said, this is a guy.
This is the part of the show where we talk about how great Chris is.
I said a guy. I called her. I literally said this is the best talent I've ever seen.
All right, you're great.
3 years later.
You're great. A little humble, humility. Let's go. Next game.
Chiefs versus Colts. That's a very good game. Not. The Chiefs are going to win this one. Colts have been playing awful. Frank Reich.
Good.
Frank Reich needs to go. Frank Reich may just be the worst coach in the NFL right now.
No, you're wrong. The worst coach is coming up.
Oh, I'm wrong.
All right, we'll get to it. But Chiefs versus Colts, and you have the Colts with an upset, right?
No, I just said the Chiefs.
I'm joking, Chris. I'm joking. Calm down.
Oh, LOL. Real funny.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's stopping the Chiefs, and I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. The Colts, I thought were going to be a little better, a little bit more competitive.
I think we all did, too.
So I've been a little bit bummed out about that, but...
Likewise.
Colts are really struggling, and, their third down conversions, they were 2-10 versus the Jaguars. Chiefs are 6 and third down defense. Jonathan Taylor, 100 yards.
He had a really good game week 1 against the Texans, and then they just tied the Texans 20-20, and then they lost, 24-0 against last week against the Jaguars. How does that even happen? Matt Ryan didn't play good.
Chiefs are going to destroy him. This game will be over by halftime.
I think this game will be a demolition job for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Pat Mahomes will run through this team, and it won't even be close.
Unless there's an injury.
The only injuries right now are happening to the Colts. Michael Pittman's been knocked up this year.
True.
And he's supposed to be their star player. Now let's move on to...
the game of the week.
The game of the week. The Texans versus the Bears. Yawn. Who cares about this game? Who cares? I don't even know what to think about the Bears. I don't know enough about the Bears. You probably do, Mr. Stat. So
Justin Fields.
Tell me.
Who's having a... So here's the story in Chicago. The story in Chicago is, and the media is going crazy, is that the coaching staff is not confident in Justin Fields. He's had how many passing attempts? It's been ridiculously low. They rarely even try to pass. I think they have the lowest passing attempts in the entire NFL.
Who's your coach nowadays? Lovie Smith, right?
Who,
the Bears?
No.
Matt. Matt. Okay, Matt Arefrauds.
Yeah. Lovie Smith used to be a Bears coach, though. He was there for a little while.
Lovie Smith, he's the head coach of the Texans. My bad, I got messed up. You know why? Because I just read that they're facing the Texans.
Who's the quarterback, though, for the...
Davis Mills. And Davis Mills might be the most underrated quarterback in the league, for all I know.
He's up
for
and down.
all I care.
He's up and down.
Davis Mills, he's what you get from Davis Mills, though. This is a 4th-round pick, a guy who shouldn't be starting in the NFL. He was given a chance, and he's taking advantage of it.
Chris, you could start for the Texans. I mean, come on. I think Davis Mills is a little bit inconsistent, but listen, they're playing the Bears. I think
the Texans. I'm going Texans in this game.
They're playing in Chicago. I'm going with Bears.
Couldn't care less where they play. They could be playing in.
The Bears.
They could be playing in Ghana for all I care, and I would still go with the Texans.
All right, move on.
They could be playing in the South Pole.
I got the Bears.
Okay. I got the Texans, so good for you. Jaguars versus the Chargers. 1-1 versus 1-1.
What do you got on this one?
I think T-Law has been making a lot of strides. To me, he's one of the most... Trevor Lawrence, T-Law.
Okay.
He's year 2. He's become very efficient. He was 25 for 30 last week with 235 yards. And
how about their defense, the Jaguars? They have a 5+ turnover ratio.
Yeah.
They're actually creating turnovers, so that's pretty cool. And Jags look good, but
this is what happens too when you have a coach who is not at bars after losing a game. When you have a coach who won a Super Bowl recently, and Doug Peterson when he won with the Eagles.
Yeah, he's a good. You're right.
So
he's a good coach.
I think that definitely changed.
Yeah, but the Jags are not going to win this game.
He changed the culture of that team. I think You don't know something I know. Do you want to know what I know that you don't know?
I'll tell you what it is. And everybody knows it. Justin Herbert has a cracked rib.
Yeah, and he won't play. And
he won't play.
He is very questionable for this game, leaning towards a no. And to me, I am going to go with the no. I don't think they're risking Justin Herbert at this time in the season, so I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houday, Duval, let's ride, baby.
I'm looking for a big game out of the Chargers tight end, Gerald Everett, and I got the Chargers winning this game.
Whoop-de-doo. Alrighty, you hear this story about the...
What a jerk. Whoop-de-doo. Very funny. Very funny. Go on.
You hear the story about the Chargers backup quarterback, Chase Daniel? He's made $45 million in his NFL career as a backup quarterback. He's played 8 games. He's made something like $236,000 for every throw he's had in the NFL.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
I love stories like that.
Something wild, He lives the life.
He hit the lottery.
Lives the life, yeah.
Hit the lottery.
He was good enough to make the NFL, not to start, but he was good enough to stay. I mean, what a guy.
What's our next game?
Wow, glad you asked. The Packers versus the Buccaneers, 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time. Aaron Rodgers versus the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
My issue with the Packers right now is their wide receiving issues. They can't catch the ball.
How about the fact the Packers suck?
Jeez, well, very straightforward there. I was trying to be a little nicer to them, but yeah, you're right.
Think about it. They no longer have
Devontae Adams. They lost. They just don't have any receivers, really. They replace him with nobodies.
But, Chris, did you know the Buccaneers don't have Mike Evans? He's suspended.
So, you still see the Buccaneers depth chart? I don't care who they don't have. It's just next guy up there. The amount of players they have sitting on their bench, it's insane. So
Green Bay has Aaron Jones
they
and
have
A.J.
Russell
Dillon.
Gage.
It's going to be a game of rushing. Leonard Fournette is 5th leading rusher right now in the NFL. The guy is just unbelievable, always consistent.
Yeah.
I got Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Packers in this one now.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs. I don't like betting against Tom Brady. You don't like betting against Bill Belichick. To me, Tom Brady is a guy I don't bet against usually.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So whoop-de-doo.
Screw you. Falcons 0-2 versus the Seahawks. Very interesting game because I think the Falcons are a bit more underrated.
This is the Super Bowl of mediocre quarterbacks. Geno Smith versus Marcus Mariota. Short-term quarterbacks.
Yeah, well,
short-term deals.
Let's just put it this way. The Falcons have lost 1 point to the Saints in week 1, and they almost came back against the Rams and lost 31-27. So I think you have to give credit where credit is due to the Falcons, and they've had very, very tight games. The biggest issue to me, and they would have won these games if they gave the ball to their most talented player, Kyle Pitts. He's the most talented tight end.
What about their running back,
He's
Patterson?
We're going to talk about Pitts for a sec. Kyle Pitts is the most talented tight end in the NFL, and they don't barely give him the ball.
Most talented tight end in the NFL?
Yes, he is. Arthur Smith needs to do something about it. He's the most athletically gifted. He's built like a wide receiver. He can block like a tight end. I mean, the guy is a freak of nature, and to me, I just think they haven't been utilizing him enough. I'm going to go with the Falcons in this game, though.
Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons. Seattle hasn't scored in this last 6 quarters.
gosh, that's
So
great.
Geno
That's the most
Smith is-
Seahawks stat ever.
Yeah.
He really fooled us with that first week
He
one
did.
game.
He did. Geno Smith had a really good first game, but he's come back to reality, and we know.
Because it was so choreographed. They had the whole offseason to choreograph that game and make sure.
I like Geno Smith, like his personality and
He's a
everything
nice
after
guy,
games.
yeah.
He seems like a really cool guy, but he's one of those guys who's going to be, he's going to play for every team in the NFL before he retires. He's not
Like
going
Ryan,
down.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Alrighty. Now let's go to the Niners and Broncos.
And here's my worst coach of the league.
Oh, the Broncos coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
See? I think he's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you right now, you got Shanahan versus what the heck's his name? I'm always forgetting his stupid name. Broncos.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel Hackett.
He used to be the Packers' offensive coordinator.
He's
And
horrible.
my
Horrible
thing
at
with
clock
this,
management.
my
Just
thing,
horrible.
it's funny, and then he kicks the field goal instead of going for it for 64 yards out. My thing with Nathaniel Hackett is why do you get the offensive coordinator for the Packers? I could be the offense coordinator for the Packers when you have
Well, you see that all the time.
we have
dude.
Aaron Rodgers and
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, right?
I'm going 49ers over the Broncos, and I also
Same.
think Russell Wilson's done.
He's not doing that great this year. Cortland Sutton is, but it's a tough situation for
We
him
agree
there.
on that.
Yeah, we agree. I like Jimmy G.
All right, let's get to the Monday Night Football matchup.
The game of the week.
We've said that like 10 times.
The game
now.
of the week.
You started off with game of the
Cooper
week.
Rush versus Daniel
Bills versus
Daddy
Dolphins.
Dimes Jones. To me, I'm loving this game. Because the Cowboys shocked me. They won last week? I don't even know how.
Who'd they beat? I don't even know who they beat.
They beat the Bengals.
Oh, the Cowboys beat the Bengals. Okay.
Yeah, that was a shocking game, and that's just more the Bengals playing bad and the Cowboys playing good. And
But the Cowboys have beaten the Giants 9 out of the last 10 times.
guess what? That's season ago, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, 4, 5 seasons
I can
ago.
never pronounce this guy's name, too, who's coming back for the Giants. Thibodeau?
Kayvon Thibodeau will be coming back. He will be an impact player. Just
He
like
will.
Aiden Hutchinson has been for the Lions, I think he will be similar for the Giants. Giants are 2-0. I think the Giants
Who's the best rusher in the NFL right now?
Is it actually Saquon?
Yeah, he's the
Really?
leading rusher
I'm
in
actually
the NFL.
shocked by that. I feel like
Saquon
someone
Barkley.
would've.
I could have that wrong, but that's what I believe that's right.
Ooh, yeah.
You could double check.
I don't
Fact
care.
check.
I don't care.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You can fact check him. Fact check.
NFL.
Go to political. No, I'm joking. Cooper Rush is
He's second in the NFL, but it's close enough.
Who's first?
Nick Chubb.
Who the heck's that?
The
Chubb.
Browns.
Oh, yeah, Browns. The Browns still in the NFL? Okay.
Nah, they actually got demoted to the XFL.
Yeah, we should do that in the NFL. Demote. That'd be so good.
relegate.
You go down to like
you get relegated to the XFL.
Yeah, relegate. There you go.
That's
Just
great.
like soccer. And Cooper Rush
to me, I'm going.
is the quarterback for Dallas, right?
I'm going with the Giants in this game. I like what I've seen out of the Giants defense in particular. I think the Giants defense holds their own out there. They have a lot of 3-and-out stops. Sure, they haven't had the best of competition.
Do you know where they're playing this game?
In MetLife?
I don't know. I think they're playing it in Dallas, to be honest with you. Because I got to give some tickets up to Pita.
And no, they're playing in MetLife
they are.
at New
All right,
York.
so, yeah.
I really do think the Giants are going to win this game. It's a whiteout at MetLife Stadium, actually. They're going to be wearing these all-white uniforms. Going to be looking really nice. I'm just not too confident in the Cowboys. It's not me being super confident with the Giants. It's me being less confident with the Cowboys in this game. If that makes sense to you.
I'm going to go with I can never ever pick the Cowboys, so what am I waiting for? I'm going to pick the Giants.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you pick the Cowboys...
No, I hate the Cowboys, but I really do believe the Giants have a chance here, and I think, I think Saquon's having a year for himself. I think Daniel Jones seems like he's, every once in a while he does that boneheaded pick.
Your offensive line is still bad, though, and there's no denying that.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones, because everyone always hates on Daniel Jones, but then again, like we were watching with Matt the other day, and you guys know Matt. He came onto the show, my brother, and he points it out. He's like, just watch how much time Daniel Jones has on the ball. It's little to nothing.
And Saquon Barkley, I mean, you talk about like
A guy putting the team on his back.
he's really had a couple really nice performances.
Davis
and-
Sills has been pretty nice. Number 13, he's come out of nowhere, so I really liked what I've seen out of him too.
And their defense, I really like this defensive coach they got. He used to be with the Ravens. Martindale?
Yeah,
Is that his name?
Don Martindale.
Yeah, I like him. He's aggressive.
Yeah.
I like the way he coaches. I think the
Dabble,
Giants are
too.
going to beat the Cowboys.
I really
man.
like Brian Dabble. Brian Dabble is a guy.
Dable?
Dable. God, I always do that. Dabble. You know why I like to dab? Brian Dable, though, he is a guy. Josh Allen, when he came into the NFL, was the least accurate quarterback in the NFL. It was not even close.
And you're telling me because of Brian Dable, he's accurate now?
No, Brian Dable worked with him. He was the offensive coordinator. He totally changed Josh Allen's, just the way he looks at the field, the X's and the O's. He really taught him everything, and all of a sudden, Josh Allen explodes into this superstar.
Maybe there's a way we can get Josh Allen to come to the Giants.
The superstar that he is today.
Hey.
I think Dable is a great football mind, and I like his aggressiveness when he goes for these plays. And
A little early, but I think Dable's off to a good start. That's for damn sure.
I like a team with personality. They have tons of personality.
Right now,
they're going to win this game and then finish 3-13, 3-14. Knowing the Giants.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. The Giants are going to have a good year. They're going to have a decent year. They might not make the playoffs, but they're going to have a decent year. Eagles look really good, though, in the NFC East.
I need the Giants to have a good year because Notre Dame suck. I need one of the two.
Yeah, one of the.
And usually something has to give for the other one to do good. So recently the Giants have gone bad, so Notre Dame can make the playoffs, be in some big time bowl games.
You got that switched around though. Notre Dame's playing bad this year.
Now Notre Dame is playing bad, so maybe the Giants will take that step and become a really good team. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that is my thoughts and your thoughts on the NFL Week 3.
Next week, we definitely are going to have a celebrity guest, okay? A very big celebrity guest making picks. A top comedian making picks for next week's game.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sure it's not me?
Yes, positive.
Okay.
No, seriously, it's going to be big news. I think, actually, we might get over 300 views. Now, they'll all be from me, but we might get 300 views.
Need to film this on, like, a Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Film early.
We don't give ourselves enough time.
It's hard with all these games going on and everything.
You're playing soccer, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're running around.
Blame it on me all the time, too. I mean, you're a busy guy yourself.
Are you doing interviews for the Sports Court? What's going on with that?
Yeah, I just did an interview with an ESPN anchor. I'm also working on YouTube, on the Sports Court, www.thesportscourtblog.com as well, at the.sportscourt on Instagram. I'm also working on some other interviews. It's just very tough now that I have school and soccer. Usually when I come home from school, I just work on the Sports Court. Now I don't have that time to myself, so I need to find other creative ways. Might be doing like an arena soccer, something easy to get interviews, not to get Russ, and then try to get bigger ones after the season. We'll see what happens. Play it by ear.
All right. Sounds good. It was a good week. What are we going out with? Do you have some kind of music to go out with?
Actually, how about the... what are we thinking here?
You gonna do The Sopranos again?
Nah, I can't.
Nobody's right now waiting for this.
Guys, please wait for this.
This sounds like Ted Lasso. Oh, your favorite, Ted Lasso.
Goodbye, everybody. Ted Lasso just dominated at the Emmys. Season 3 should be coming soon. I can't wait. Chris and his dad signing off. Have a great one, everybody.
Ted Lasso.